They looked at me and saw just a boy. But God had already seen a warrior. I grew up in the field, far from the applause. While my brothers were remembered, I was forgotten. I took care of the sheep when no one saw me. There in the silence, I learned to hear the voice of God.
I knew loneliness,
I knew rejection,
I knew rejection.
I knew the feeling of not being chosen. But every night alone, God was preparing something inside me. Then one day, I heard a shout. It wasn't a common battle. It was a giant trying to say that God had no power. But he didn't know the God who was with me.
I will not run, I will not hide,
Because the God who raised me up
will fight for me.
The giant is big, but my God is bigger. The stone in my head
Wasn't my strength, it was the faith he placed
inside me. They said, you are too small, you don't have experience, you don't belong in this war. But they didn't know that before facing Goliath, I had already faced lions, I had already faced bears, I had already won battles that no one knew about. Because there are battles that happen in secret before victory appears in public. They try to measure my size, they try to limit my calling. They looked at my empty hands, but they didn't see the God walking beside me. It wasn't the armor, it wasn't the sword, it wasn't the power of men. It was the presence of God giving me courage. Fear said, go back. Doubt said, give up. But my faith answered,
I will move forward.
Then I looked at that giant, and I remembered everything that God had already done. Because those who win battles in silence do not fear battles in front of the crowd.
I faced the giant,
And I discovered
that he was smaller.
that he seemed. Because when
God is with me,
no voice of fear can stop me. The giant fell,
shame fell,
the doubt fell, but the promise of God
stood still.
I didn't win because I was strong.
I won.
Because God was with me. And if he brought me here, he will carry me to the end. I was just a shepherd, but God had already written a king inside me. Maybe today you are looking at a giant that seems impossible. But remember, the size of the problem will never be greater than the power of God. Don't look at the giant. Look at the one who fights for you. Because when God chooses someone, neither fear, nor rejection, nor giants can stop the purpose.